Now, the official White House Twitter account was buried in mockery earlier today after highlighting a clip of Donald Trump's Rose Garden rant. I told you about that, guys, about that yesterday, guys. Now, the account basically tweeted out a video of Trump's wine session, which was fun, where he went on about how unfair it is to basically investigate the president for possible wrongdoing. So long as he is president, back when Obama was president, he was more than willing to investigate him. And, of course, Ashley had pressured him to try to release his long-form birth certificate. Yeah. So a lot of people forgot that Donald Trump was a birther. Now, this whole thing happened after Nancy Pelosi basically accused him of engaging in a cover-up. Now, what could he possibly cover up? Well, there's plenty of things, including, obstruction of justice, his tax filings, financial fraud, things like that. Even his school transcripts are things that he'd want to cover up. But nonetheless, his social media team apparently thought that this was a great idea to tweet this out. Awesome. Great. Now, let me read this tweet. This is from the official White House Twitter account, right? So this is supposed to be a Twitter account where they do, White House updates and I guess tweet out patriotic things. I don't know. I really don't follow it, to be honest with you. But here it is, basically tweeting out propaganda, which said, quote, "The Mueller investigation, conducted by a legal team that contributed over 20 times as much to Democrats as Republicans, found no collusion and no obstruction. The witch hunt was nothing but an attempted takedown of the president." That is the official White House Twitter account. And that's not coming from Donald Trump's Twitter account, which we could understand, right? No, this is literally tweeting out political propaganda and talking points from the Trump administration. Bad idea. Terrible, terrible idea. And the internet, of course, agreed. Let me read some tweets here. Shannon Engel says, "Desperation, first thing in the morning." Smell that desperation. Andrew Abramson says, "I can't believe this is the official White House account." I know. Again, tweeting out literal Republican talking points and propaganda that is pro-Trump. That's not supposed to be pro-anything. It's supposed to be the White House. So like you tweet out events and stuff like that. No, save the political propaganda for your own Twitter account. There's more. Neil Bowen says, "If this tweet came from 10 Downing Street in the UK, the Prime Minister would be removed. Government accounts should not be used for political propaganda." Absolutely. JCW says, "For real, go to work." This is embarrassing. Well, look, if Donald Trump was actually operating that, he might have been tweeting that from executive time. Burgers, hamburgers, and Diet Coke. Well, that's what you do when it's executive time. You eat hamburgers and drink Diet Coke and watch Fox News, which is where you get your talking points. And where you hear this all the time. Concerned American says, "You've all sold your soul. You can't imagine how you live with yourselves." Well, I have an answer to that. On a gigantic pile of money. Kind of like Scrooge McDuck. More. Susie Ort says, "I remember when White House communications weren't attack ads. They used to be celebratory, patriotic, unifying, and uplifting." Well, that was, of course, before we had the most thin-skinned president in the history of the country. Adriana A. says, "That's a lie. Read the report." You know what the report says? That they didn't find sufficient evidence of a criminal, a criminal conspiracy with the Russian government. But regardless, they had found at least 10 instances of Donald Trump attempting to obstruct the investigation. Just saying. There is that. Marquita says, "Nothing like starting the day with a lie, and so early in the morning, too." Well, Donald Trump has lied over 1,000 times. No, it's got to be more than that. More than 1,000, like 10,000 times. It's amazing how much he lies. Ava says, "Boy, the White House is on a mission to fix yesterday. I bet they want a do-over." And that, of course, is a great reference to what Trump was saying the day before. The Democrats, they want a do-over in the Mueller investigation. No, they don't. No, we want to actually talk about what the Mueller investigation found and actually do something about it. Again, the investigation was a stepping stone, right? You get the investigation, then you take the findings and you discuss what to do with the findings. In this case, they're talking about the obstruction of justice. So Mueller, what he did is he basically found this and then, as his job, handed it over to Congress so that Congress can do their job and decide whether or not any of these things are high crimes and misdemeanors of which you could impeach a sitting president for. And a high crime doesn't necessarily have to be a crime. It could be lying to Congress under oath. So, and again, Bill Clinton was impeached for lying about his affair. So it's not, it's a bar. It's not that high of a bar. Again, it's not that high of a bar if you're a low person. So there's that. Sandy Ellison says, I'm old enough to remember when the White House Twitter account was used for facts, policy updates, and benign announcements rather than partisan whining. Sad. Stag68 says, it's sad to see an official White House Twitter feed reduced to writing fan fiction. That's awesome. Dorothy Walker said, it is suspicious that you won't honor subpoenas and show your taxes, etc. Makes one think you're hiding something. Cover up? Now again, on the subject of impeachment, you also can be impeached for not giving Congress, not answering subpoenas from Congress. In this case, from the House and their different committees and subcommittees that are actually looking for information, right? They're requesting information from the administration. They're requesting interviews with administration officials. And the Trump administration is saying, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to give you that information. We'll give you some information so we can say we gave you some information, but we're not going to give you what you requested. And we're definitely not going to have people come and actually talk to Congress about it. No, that's not happening. We're not going to let Don McGahn testify. We're not going to have William Barr testify in front of the House. He'll testify in front of the Senate all day because the Senate's Republican controlled, but the House, not doing that. All that is stuff that you can actually, if ordered by Trump, you can be impeached for. So, interesting. And then, of course, there's the taxes. Donald Trump still won't show his taxes. What we know is from copies of official tax reports from the IRS that showed that Donald Trump lost over $1 billion because he's a buffoon. He's a knucklehead. More. Greg Carey says, wow, you guys do a lot to show how guilty you are. Because guilty people don't hide things and obstruct justice. Democratium says, sad. Used to be a White House stood for strength, hope, and dreams. Nowadays, it is home to deceit, paranoia, and propaganda. And that's what happens when you elect a paranoid man-child who has likely committed numerous financial crimes. Again, just talk about, for example, campaign finance violations or, tax fraud. I mean, what happens when you inflate your assets in order to get loans, but then deflate them in order to pay less taxes? That would be considered tax fraud. That is something that they are looking into. But really, right now, and the big problem with this is that we are literally seeing the government, the official government accounts, protect a straight-up con man. Politically, right? Now, again, that's our tax money, right? That goes to the people who run that account. That pays their salary. And it is being used to defend the biggest con artist in American history, using political Fox News talking points. This is absolutely infuriating when you think about it. And so I think that's the biggest takeaway here, is that Trump has no problem using official government assets to protect himself and use them for partisan attacks on the other side. It's ridiculous. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, You know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.